Hi, I'm Em of Em Doodles and Stuff. I do influencer baby name predictions on TikTok and baby name consultations. And look at my overalls. Oh my goodness. Okay. This channel is where I do anything more long form. TikTok is just not a long form platform. The attention span more than anything. Like, yeah, you can technically make 10-minute long videos on there now, but like, you shouldn't, because the attention span is just so little. This here YouTube channel is more rambly, where you don't need to have your eyes glued on the screen. There's not an abundance of visuals, but I like having the option. I'm a very visual person. I mean, I love talking about aesthetic and just vibes and just pictures, and you know what I'm talking about. So every once in a while, I'll be like, hey, look at the screen. There's a picture you should see. But other than that, do your thing. Painting your nails, go for it. Doing a craft project, enjoy yourself. Are you doing laundry? That's really good. I'm really proud of you. I need to do mine. Maybe you're doing your dishes. Good for you. Seriously, I hate that stuff. Anything wet and smelly is a pass. Now, where I always start with these Doodle Talk videos is talking about a doodle prompt from last time and what I drew with it. You are always welcome to draw it as well. It's kind of like homework that I give for you, but like it's sincerely just for me. The doodle prompt last time was a phrase. It was the magic of the future of the darkness. The magic of the future of the darkness. This was a phrase that I heard my kids chanting once, and I immediately wrote it down. I think the phrase has so much compelling mystery to it. It's as if they were just throwing around some sci-fi and fantasy buzzwords to see what would stick. The magic of the future of the darkness. To me, when I was deciding what I would draw from this, was to first look at the order of the grammar. I think that needs to be acknowledged. To me, it seems that ultimately we're talking about the darkness, right? The words before darkness are descriptors. I don't know. I really like writing, but I clearly didn't study it. Are those adjectives? Whatever it is. We're talking about the darkness. We're talking about the future of the darkness, as if to say, what's coming up in the darkness? What's in the darkness's 5-year plan? What does the future have in store for the darkness? Now, it's the magic of the future of the darkness. To me, this implies that whatever is in the darkness's 5-year plan, it's going to be good. It's the magic of the future, the possibilities of the unknown. The future, generally, as a concept, is associated with like hope and change and new beginnings and that sort of thing. So to me, the phrase is to imply the darkness has like a pretty good magical future ahead. So then it's like, well, what on earth is the darkness? Is that like capital D? Is it a fantasy novel Dark Lord? Is it a satanic entity? Is it the personification of night? Is it a person? Is it a concept? Is it a metaphor? So for my doodle prompt, the way I've chosen to see it is that the darkness is an apocalypse. Okay? It is our modern day Earth suddenly without power. No electricity. For the first time since Edison invented the light bulb in 1870 something, the night is truly the night. Okay? You know how like in the pandemic, there was that little like silver lining where the canals of Venice were clear again because there was no boat traffic and sea life was returning, like dolphins or something? Was that real or was that just fake news? I really don't know. In this post-apocalyptic situation I'm creating, the little glimmer is the night sky. The magic of the future of the darkness allows Earth to see that Milky Way shining even in places like New York City and LA, because all the lights are gone. That's fantastic. Less fantastic, though, is that everyone is dead, except Ready? Here we go. This is a plot. This is the plot of a movie. I have a note in my phone called Ideas You Can Take, which is any, often movie plots, apps, or other things that I want someone to invent. I don't have the time or resources. Someone else do it though. So I've had this plot of a movie for a long time, and it just so seamlessly worked with this doodle prompt. It was very thrilling to me. So, title of the movie, The Magic of the Future of the Darkness. Here is the poster. This is the doodle prompt. Here it is. The Magic of the Future of the Darkness, plot. I've written down a 2-sentence summary. Humankind is mysteriously wiped out across the Earth, while 2 astronauts aboard the space station are helplessly in orbit. They must work together to return home, not knowing what that home may be. Okay. Yes. First, is there any book or movie that has had an apocalypse happen while astronauts were up there? I have thought about this so much. Like, what would they do? Someone tell me what would happen. Well, I've told myself what would happen. So, okay, my doodle, the imaginary movie cover. I'm going to show some other movie covers to help you grasp the vibe of what we're making here. The plot and the vibe definitely have some of Sandra Bullock's 2013 film Gravity, okay, plus Will Smith's I Am Legend from 2007, absolutely, but I'm not doing zombies. I know this is an apocalypse, but not one with zombies, because this movie I'm making, I want to watch it, and I don't watch zombie movies. Okay, Gravity, I Am Legend, and and The Blue Lagoon, the Brooke Shields teen movie from 1980. Just the only difference is no one is underage, but like you get, okay? Here's the thing. I like the questions some older movies were asking. The plotline of Blue Lagoon is essentially asking, what if boy and girl alone on island? Right? In 1995, Waterworld with Nicolas Cage, that was asking, what if Earth only water? Or go back a little further, Planet of the Apes from, what was that? Was that the 1960s? Asks the question, what if apes? So I am asking, what if stranded boy-girl astronaut all alone in a dark world? I mean, I have so many thoughts. So the next plot point coming into my film, you're never going to guess it. You ready? You're never going to guess this. In my fictional creation, The Magic of the Future of the Darkness, there is a religious allegory. Do you see it forming? Boy and girl astronauts come from the great beyond down to Earth, and it's just them, like Adam and Eve. Like Adam and Eve. Their spacecraft would haphazardly, I don't know how to get down, land in a fertile crescent of safety and beauty. They get back and they're like, okay, this is gorgeous. At first I thought like, ooh, maybe they'll land on like Costa Rica or something. But then I didn't want them on a solitude, a solitary island. So then I thought Havasupai. Have you ever seen Havasupai? Here's a picture of what Havasupai really looks like. Here's my movie cover. And so the vibe here, it's kind of fun because it's like, you can't tell if they're like on Mars or another unworldly, unearthly planet. But actually, no, that's just like the red rock of Havasupai. And if you look closely at the poster, you see a little bit of plant life encroaching on the corner as if to tell you this isn't a barren wasteland of Mars or something. This is Earth. Havasupai, it's a really special sacred area, and it's really hard to get a hiking permit to go there because, I mean, everyone would want to go there if they could. So yes, this is where the spacecraft lands. Now, because of this mysterious situation that led to everyone on the planet dying recently, there were no permits issued recently. There were no recent hiking expeditions started out to the waterfalls, which means this place they've landed is not actually seeing any of the aftermath of the apocalypse. There's no dead bodies. It's just nature, and it's gorgeous. So this is their Eden. This is their Eden. They're swimming in clear blue pools and watching a million shooting stars at night. And yeah, they fall in love. And as the Bible told, they eventually decide to leave paradise because they realize that they have a greater moral obligation to try to do whatever they can for humanity, even though they don't know what's left of humanity. It might be just them. So they leave. They have to witness the horrible, disgusting, empty world. Girl astronaut is, you guessed it, pregnant. From there, I don't know. Honestly, I haven't fleshed it out much beyond that. They've got to figure out what happened to everyone. They'd probably, at some point, they have to start finding other people, because the biggest flaw of Adam and Eve's story is that how do two people begin a whole Earth's population? The amount of incest that would be required to do that would never work. So yeah, they've got to find other people. Okay, wait, I kind of like the idea of the only other people they find are children, because then the thought of like the post-apocalyptic world, which then gets built, is entirely of people that barely remember the way the world was before. Oh, that's good. It essentially makes like, yeah, because, okay, so the two astronauts, they're adults and they're like, in my day. But then the little kids that they're raising are like, I don't remember that. So it makes this whole entirely different society because they don't know what it was before except by what they hear Adam and Eve tell them. That is so interesting. Okay. But yeah, before they start finding the children, it's just the two of them. An isolated pregnancy, which is very Blue Lagoon, incredibly Blue Lagoon. So again, look, here's my poster. I want this movie made. I don't want it to feel like a 2024 production, though. I want it aesthetically to feel like it was made in the 1970s. Did you guys see on Disney Plus the documentary The Fire of Love? I was obsessed with it. Best documentary I watched in the year. I wanted to have like that vibe. The second part of Doodle Talk is where I just randomly pick a baby name out of the data and talk about it. And what I think sounds particularly fun is to look at a randomly selected baby name and determine how well it suits the magic of the future of the darkness. Do the names fit the vibe of lead boy astronaut or lead girl astronaut for my 1970s aesthetic 2024 film? Okay, so I go to the random number generator on my laptop, and we are looking at the year 2001. 2001 Space Odyssey is a movie I've never seen. Okay, and then we need to know the popularity ranking spot we're working with, which is 84. So we're looking at the 84th most popular baby names from the year 2001, which is Mark and Leslie, which as a pair feels very season 1 of Parks and Recreation. Now I flip a coin to see which one we're going to actually focus on. I don't like to do both. We don't have time for that. And we have landed on heads, which for my standards is girl. And okay, Leslie. First thing I need to say is I have a problem with Leslie and Wesley I don't know how you're supposed to say the S. I don't think there's one right or wrong answer, and I don't think it's necessarily the same for Leslie and Wesley. But anytime I know someone with a baby named Wesley, or like they are a client of mine and that's a name they like, I always ask, how do you pronounce it? Because I just want to make sure I'm doing the same as you. Because you can say Wesley or Wesley. Wesley. More often than not, people say Wesley. I can get behind that. It does not come naturally to me. To me, I want to say Wesley. Wesley. It comes out of my mouth easier, but I get it. Leslie is even more of a soft Z. Leslie. That feels so unnatural. So I'm going to keep saying Leslie, okay? I don't know. It's interesting to think that looking at the data for the name Leslie, just based on this data, as a top 100 name in 2001, therefore, there should be an ample number of 22-year-old girls right now named Leslie. Because in 2001, there were just over 3,600 baby girls named Leslie. I actually can't decide if that feels like a lot or not. It's interesting because you say, oh, it's a top 100 name, it's so popular. But then 3,600 girls named Leslie, does that feel like a lot? Does that feel like a lot? I don't know. Numbers are not my strong suit. What I'm trying to say is I don't know anyone named Leslie, let alone a 22-year-old named Leslie. Regardless, though, the question at hand is, does Leslie fit the vibe of girl astronaut who returns to the post-apocalyptic Earth in a Mother Eve-esque metaphor? Her vibe has to feel like mature / old enough to realistically be a credible astronaut chosen for a space mission. Yet her vibe needs to feel young enough that she's fertile, fertile. So the problem is, because I cannot untangle the idea of Leslie Knope from this conversation, I'm saying, yeah, it fits, because Leslie Knope as a character, according to ScreenRant.com, Leslie Knope would have been born in 1975. So yeah, Leslie as a name, it definitely feels more suited for the 1970s. And then when you look at the data of the name Leslie, it was actually much more popular. It was a top 100 name for the first time in 1953, all the way through 1988. It was a top 100 name, chugging along from 53 to 88. And then it had just this funny little blip of a resurgence from 1999 to 2004. So it's really funny that we happen to randomly pluck up Leslie from that little outlier blip, when in reality, the name is working for what we need, because the bulk of its reign, of its popularity, was in the 1970s and the surrounding decades. I mean, based on the data alone, Leslie absolutely suits our needs, because I want this movie to have a 1970s aesthetic. Yes, Leslie, absolutely. The magic of the future of the darkness, this is for her. If we were to cast our film, it's not Amy Poehler. This wouldn't be her genre. Leslie and unnamed male astronaut, I have two ideas, okay? I knew who I wanted for unnamed male astronaut first, which is Dev Patel. I'll put pictures up on the screen. Here's Dev. I love Dev Patel. I think he's a very believable astronaut. I can see him up there in the space station. I could see him at Havasupai swimming in the Blue Lagoon. I could see him post-apocalyptic. Everything about that makes sense. And the age range works for what we're creating here. So I could see him paired with Brie Larson. I think she has a stoic strength to her. I think she would really do well showing the emotions of oh no, we're screwed. But in a stoic way. She would not panic. So that's fantastic. Now I do have a backup. I like this pairing as well. They do skew a little bit younger. I like the idea of Steven Yeun. Steven Yeun, we know he does post-apocalyptic. That's kind of his foundation. I would like to see him do it again, because I never watched The Walking Dead. I told you, I can't do zombies. So I never watched him do it there, but I know he did fantastic. He could definitely be an astronaut. I would never doubt if you told me that Steven Yeun, the actor, actually started out in the NASA program. Havasupai would suit him really nicely. I feel like he could do nurturing father very nicely as well. I'm going to pair him, again, this is skewing a little bit younger, but I don't think it's totally unrealistic. We're going Florence Pugh. Does she feel a little bit young to be the space station engineer? A little bit. But we're not ageist here. We're open to all ages of all intelligences. That's good, right? I could see them working as a team to rebuild the earth. I'd like that. So yeah, that's magic of the future of the darkness. Okay, and the third thing I do in a doodle talk is just talk about any one topic that's been on my mind. And you get a gist of it from the title of this, but that topic is something that's on my mind now, and it's always been on my mind. And that is my body. That's my body. And this topic I feel like is a little bit like heavier and more serious than others I've done on here, but it's what's on my mind and I make the rules. So what it all boils down to really is potato body, not pregnant. And before I really dive in here, look, you don't have to listen to this. Oh my goodness, you don't have to listen to this because I feel like hearing other people talk about their bodies, it's either boring. It's like, have you ever had a friend that has a lot of really vivid dreams and tells you about them in depth? And it's like, oh man, it could be the most captivating, complex dream ever imagined by the human species, but it's just not going to be interesting if it wasn't your dream. Our dreams are so interesting to us, and it doesn't necessarily have the same wow factor when you tell them to someone else. I'm sorry, but that's at least for me, that is true. So that could be the same with bodies, I feel like. Two, hearing about other people's body experiences can be triggering depending on your own experiences. And my goodness, like feel free to dip out. I will remember the good times we had with the astronauts and Leslie. I'm so happy you came for that, and I would love to see you again next time. Third, hearing other people talk about their body experiences can be very unrelatable. Do you know how many times I have seen a very hot woman on Instagram post their very vulnerable 1 week postpartum body, and my reaction has been, okay, I didn't even look that good when I was 20. Like, do you want to trade? I'll take your postpartum pooch. You look fantastic. And it's like, that's not cool of me. That's not nice of me to them. And that's not nice of me to me either. What's challenging to one person is not going to be challenging to another. I heard one person 5 years ago complain about having a short torso and long legs, and I still think about it and get mad because this is a me problem. This is a me problem. That was her struggle, and I can relate to her feelings. I should respect it even if I can't relate to it, but I have so much the opposite problem that it's really hard for me to grasp and sympathize with the problem of having a short torso and long legs. I just need to accept it, need to move on, but that's hard. And if any of these things are hard for you, it's really okay. You don't have to watch. I get it. I am not here to exclusively rag on my body or praise my body. There's no dramatic before and afters here. This isn't a hero's journey about, and then one day it clicked and I lost 50 pounds. There's no, and one day it clicked and I loved my body. It's just me wandering through vast forests of thoughts and feelings and anecdotes. There's no big outcome at the end. When I reflect back on that vast forest, something pivotal though, there was a pivotal thing, which was a TikTok. Hey, thanks TikTok. This was years ago. I cannot find it again. You know how you can look at all the videos you've hearted or favorited? I scrolled back all the way to the beginning of every video I've ever clicked heart on, and I still couldn't find this video. I'm either misplacing it or it's deleted. I don't know, which is so sad because I'm telling you, this is the most pivotal, important TikTok message I've ever heard. I wish I could say thank you to her. So instead, I have to just paraphrase it really poorly, okay? It's a girl in a video talking. She begins by talking about how there's the well-known fact that many people from Kenya are exceptionally good long-distance runners and marathon runners. A variable of that, confirmed by like the National Library of Medicine and other such reliable sources, is there's genetic predisposition. You know, they were built for it. Girl in the video then describes her own body type and how it seems built to be a girthy Irish peasant carrying potatoes. Okay, now for me, the way she said it, it came across a little bit tongue-in-cheek, a little bit jokey, a little bit ha-ha, but also not entirely ha-ha. It feels real. Like for me, her message helped me see my body in a new light, in a new context that I had never considered before. And I reacted with a hells yeah. I would be really good at carrying potatoes. My dimensions are literally perfect to carry potatoes. I am very short. I have disproportionately wide shoulders. And also, if you're watching this and you're like, I'm looking at you right now and you're not. I mean, you can see me the way you see me here in this video and think one thing, and I can spend a lifetime in my body and think something else, and that's fine too. So, okay, I am very short. I have disproportionately wide shoulders. I have a very long torso, hence my beef with the short torso people. Got a nice poochy belly. I got a thick waist, got large boobs. I have a girthy sized like upper back and poor posture. I've got no butt, completely flat, short neck, slender wrists and ankles, and disproportionately short legs with thighs that rub together, and yet also disproportionately muscular calves. They're absolutely ripped. So what I've just described is a body with a genetic predisposition to carry a sack of potatoes. I mean, I could do such a good job. Because of that TikTok, I got thinking more about like my ancestry and heritage. It's mostly Scottish, Irish, and German, extremely peasant vibes across the board, which then led me to look at historic photographs of Irish peasant women. Here are some pictures. You guys, these pictures, they made me want to weep because I feel so seen. I see these women who seem to have so many of the same physical traits I see in myself. I look at these pictures and genuinely feel so freaking proud to be short and stout. Like I was made by them. That's amazing. These pictures make me want to shout, me, this is me. I am a woman with a genetic predisposition to carry a sack of potatoes. That's amazing. Now, also, what I'm describing is a body that is shaped like a potato, okay? Now, I know what you're envisioning, which is this. Here's a picture. This is probably what you think when you hear that. It's nice. Yeah, I mean, it's simple. It's a body shaped like a potato for sure. At the root of what I'm describing, this captures the essence of it. It's a potato body. A potato body is about carrying your weight close to your core, near your center, with wispy little extremities. That we have that here. But for a moment, look at this more in-depth capture. I don't know if you're ready for this. Yes, it's wearing a black bikini because I wasn't sure what the internet laws around potato nudity might be. Better safe than sorry. This is a real potato body. Like, okay, not real, real, not real, real, not real, real. Like, okay, yes, the head moves up off of the potato because I did say it's a potato body. The head, it sits atop it. And as you can see, she's mostly body, torso for days. She's girthy Gerda. She's thick except where she's not. Girthy Gerda, how are you going to find high-rise jeans? You need exceptionally short inseams and exceptionally high rise to reach up to your belly button. And the width, the waist to hip ratio, circumference, whatever, that's out of this world. I mean, and I'm here to tell you, girthy Gerda is not ever going to find the perfect jeans. And I'd like to say that the string bikini top is doing so much invisible labor here, but it's actually just totally given up. Those strings are not even pretending to give any support upstairs. With every step she takes, these chesticles are like a jello cake in an earthquake, okay? Are you interested in seeing the backside? Are you ready? Okay, here it is. Front and back. Wow. And now I'm being completely earnest when I say I love these pictures. I love girthy Gerda with her potato body. I react to these pictures in the same way as the Irish peasant photographs. I look at this and say, me, this is me. It's so satisfying. I feel so seen. Like, this is my body. Like, this is what I look like to me. And that doesn't make me sad or mad so much. It's just like, well, that is different. Now, alongside that, still, there are so many mixed feelings. Like when I was 12, I was doing a craft project with a bunch of girls, and there was a measuring tape involved. And one of the older girls, aka cooler, more beautiful, supreme, she went around the room with her measuring tape and went behind each chair and measured the shoulder width of every girl in the room. She just kind of, pranced from chair to chair and said the numbers out loud. I remember this very vividly, and I truly believe there was not malicious intent. She was just bored and had a measuring tape. I hold no ill will against her. I remember exactly who it was. I know her name. I can DM her on Instagram right now. She probably has no idea that this happened. She read those numbers out loud and got to me, and the number she read for mine was so much higher. So much higher. She commented, wow. And then the moment passed. That was it. She said the number, said wow, and the moment passed. But that 4-second memory became such a core part of my self-identity. From that moment on, I knew I was a small, short person with wide shoulders, wider than anyone else that I knew. The first time that I was embarrassed to go out in public because I was afraid that people would think I was pregnant, I was 15. I was 15 years old. I was wearing a blue dress. I was going with my mom to like her college reunion family picnic. I didn't want to go. I felt so embarrassed and ashamed that her friends would probably think she had a pregnant 15-year-old daughter. In hindsight, it's like, no, they wouldn't have thought that. But that's how it felt at the time. I felt embarrassed that someone might think I was pregnant, and I was 15. And then around the same time was also the era of baby doll tees, which, okay, not good, you guys, not good. Such a small portion of the population can pull off that look. Being very chesty, oh my goodness. I mean, the empire waist, it's supposed to sit below your chest, but if you got a chest, it's like sitting up here. It's ridiculous. You do realize that the empire waist baby doll tee is structurally nearly identical to a maternity top, right? We know that, we see that. So if you're very busty, you got a full belly, that's a perfect storm. I think the baby doll tee, maybe like the average 9-year-old can wear it. I don't know. It's a real perfect storm to be busty, bellied, and young with those baby doll tees. Oh my goodness. So I remember being 17 and wearing a sort of like coral, tiny floral print baby doll tee that I got from Forever 21 when a teenaged male relative told me that I looked pregnant. That was the very first time I had heard it out loud from a brain that was not my own. I remember exactly where I was sitting when he told me I looked pregnant. And then into my college years and through my 20s, my fear of appearing pregnant was all consuming. My weight went up and my belly did grow, and I don't think there's ever a way to pinpoint exactly why. At least for myself, I don't know, our bodies just have so many variables. One variable is just, you're not a teenager. You're a fully grown human. So your body's going to be different than what you were when you were a teenager. Instead of forcing myself to be the slowest person on the high school track team, I was now an adult who was responsible for my own exercise. Had to rely on self-motivation to have fitness be a part of my daily regime. That's a lot harder. Also in my 20s, the birth control pill. Within a year of starting the birth control pill, I gained 20 pounds, and it felt like the end of the world, especially because that's when I did start getting strangers asking me about my pregnancy. Yes. That phrasing is important. I did not get anyone asking, "Are you pregnant?" I got strangers so confident that I was pregnant that they didn't even ask that preliminary question. They just jumped right into the conversation about it. There was one time at a grocery store when I was buying a Diet Coke and a bag of rice, and the woman asked if I was also eating healthy for the sake of the baby. That was a real thing that did happen. In that first 1 to 2 years after starting birth control, I had 4 separate experiences of strangers asking about my pregnancy. Every single one made the blood drain from my face. Every single one was so mortifying. I never said to any of them, "I'm not pregnant." I just went along with it. That was easier for me. And also the interesting thing is that it was oddly validating. Like, I already so firmly knew that my proportions made me look pregnant. And so with those experiences from strangers, it was confirmed. It's like, yay! I guess it's hard to say, because also in my 20s, I then got married. And to be married and to look pregnant when you're not pregnant is my own personal version of hell. Just horror for years. I was so insecure and scared of what every single person saw of me and was thinking about me. To look in the mirror every day and just stare at my stomach, analyzing if the outfit I was choosing was going to make me look with child. Every day for so long. Honestly, one of the most exciting things when we did eventually, much later, decide to start our family and have kids was the freedom I felt in pregnancy. Oh my goodness. I mean, okay, put yourself in my shoes. Since age 15, I was afraid of being mistaken as pregnant. To actually be pregnant many years later was such an immense relief on my self-confidence, my body image, my social anxiety, my wardrobe, my eating habits. It was finally okay to look pregnant because I was. Oh my goodness, like, to be chubby and want a second donut is to be super self-conscious about what people are thinking about me as I go towards the box. To be pregnant and want a second donut, it's like you snap your fingers and people will bring it to you. Oh my goodness, what a life. Oh, now I had 2 kids pretty much back to back. I was at my highest weight of all time when I was in the 3rd trimester with my second baby, okay? 3rd trimester, full term, about to give birth. That was the highest weight I have ever been in my life. And I delivered that 8-pound baby, and did not even lose 8 pounds until 2 years later. Do you understand what I'm saying? An 8-pound baby came out of me, but that did not subtract even 8 pounds from my weight until 2 years later. That math ain't mathin'. I know. It doesn't make any sense, but that's what it was. So yeah, when I see the hot moms on Instagram with their 1 week postpartum bodies, I have been tempted to trade. Absolutely. Do you want to see pictures? I feel like yes. So on the left here, this is a picture from about 6 months after my second baby was born. Okay, middle picture here is just over 2 years after second baby was born. And then the picture on the right is from last week. That baby is almost 4 years old now. So looking at these, yeah, that's a potato. That's a potato, you guys. Look at those tiny ankles, flat butt, muscular calves, yet thighs that chafe. We've got girthy shoulders, big saggy boobs, and a disproportionately big belly. The belly goes out further than the boobs. Without a baby inside? That's wild. I'm covered enough in these photos that you can't see the belly folds. There's like the creases. It's not quite an apron belly, but there's creases of sagging skin and extra jelly and such. And just know that after the birth of that second child, the postpartum nurse assumed that my first had been a C-section. And that was because the flappy belly skin had left such a pronounced wrinkle across my lower abdomen, you know, like the crease. It was so permanent that it was in the exact right spot and shape to look like a C-section scar. And that's still there. Still there, still does. When I look at that first picture, the swimsuit one, I remember that I took that picture because I was horrified by what I saw. It was like an afternoon. We were going to go swimming in a little kiddie pool, and I had already eaten lunch and stuff and just felt horrified, absolutely horrified. The second picture is one where I decided to keep it rather than delete it, purely because I thought maybe this will make a really great before picture someday. Like someday I'm going to be super fit and hot, and this picture, I look bad enough that, yeah, this is going to be a really good before picture. And that third picture from last week, I don't know, I just took it. I just took it. Rather than disdain, my feelings towards my shape are more and more just, that's different. That shape is different. I don't see people shaped like her very much in the medias. I don't see that shape very much represented in the straight size, mid-size, or plus size media. It seems like you're only eligible for representation if you at least have a thick backside to like compensate for having a thick front side, you know? Also, on the topic of postpartum bellies, can we talk about stretch marks for a second? Stretch marks, they're part of life. They're fine. I like the idea of reframing them as tiger stripes, as people seem to be doing on the Instagram and such. I think that's very cool. It's very bad, tiger stripes. Rawr. Although personally, I don't really have that many that resemble stripes. It's nice though, like the idea of just having 3 or 4 individual stretch marks on your hips or your belly, just like, that's nice. Mine, however, for me, they compare very closely to tree bark, okay? It was kind of a light bulb moment for me when I made this connection a little while back, and ever since I've been riding the high of it, because trees are amazing. Trees are iconic. You know who likes trees? Tigers. Trees are nature. They are growth, fruit, fertility. Eve loves trees too. Every good book has an impactful metaphor about trees. I love trees. Here are some pictures of tree bark that I collected. And yes, again, like the Irish peasant photo and the potato body photo, I look at these and feel so seen. It makes me want to go, me, that's me. That's my belly. When I look at the texture of these tree bark, I see myself. That's my belly. That's my belly. You're all my belly. It's being pulled in every direction that the actual fibers of the skin, I don't know, have cracked or crackled, or stretched apart. You know what I'm saying? There's no individual stretch marks on my body, or very few. I guess a few on my hips and such. But the thing about tree bark is it's the entirety of the area. My whole lower belly skin below my belly button is a whole new texture. Is it cute? No. It's really not. Sometimes I look at it up close. I pull the skin taut so you can see the individual veins and such. And honestly, you guys, it reminds me of Harvey Dent, the bad side of his face. But then also, it's like a tree that's so freaking incredible. Oh, okay, it's also another one, like a raisin. It also has a very similar texture to a raisin. And okay, this is very cool because tree and raisin comparisons are good. A tree, it's like a little tree. When trees are small, they don't have that crackly bark. They're smooth. And then as they get big, they stretch out and get their very textured bark. Same thing happens when a small body becomes big, maybe in the belly. A nice, juicy, plump grape, like a belly, then shrinks down, it deflates, and it has these shriveled little ripples like a raisin. That is so relatable. Nature is amazing. I love that. Sometimes, honestly, I think about how the act of becoming a mother is probably a reason I'm able to be much more chill and more of a, that's my body shape about my body. If someone were to assume I was pregnant now, it wouldn't bother me that much, honestly. I'd be like, no, that makes sense, ma'am. I mean, here's a child with me. Here's another child with me. And yeah, this abdomen, it absolutely looks like it could be with child. I agree with you on that. And then I would buy my groceries. That's never happened, though. And also, becoming a mother is very much the act of giving up your body. Not giving up on your body. That's different. Giving up your body. It's 9 months of someone borrowing your space and, constant exams and giving your pee to someone. And there's nudity. So many people, like doctors and nurses, and they see you nude and they hold cups of pee and they just don't care. They don't care. It's just so totally chill. In labor at one point, I was fully nude on hands and knees on the hospital bed, completely unfazed. I was unfazed, they were unfazed. I was just having a baby. Afterwards, a woman I had never met held me up on the toilet and cleaned up after me. And then you, as the adult, have your diaper checked and changed. And so I think what I'm saying is when you're a parent, you really adjust to what you give a crap about. And you go through so much, there's so much you don't give a crap about anymore. So for me, even though having children made me my heaviest and most potatoiest I've ever been, it also made me the most carefree and indifferent and confident about it. I have worn so much more revealing clothing and swimwear after having kids than before. Isn't that interesting? When I look back now at how I scrutinized my body in my teens and my 20s compared to how I feel now, I think there's that broad idea of nuanced thinking playing a role as well. According to one random website, totally credible, nuanced thinking acknowledges the gray areas and complexities of the diverse point of views and perceptions of reality. It does not fall into the pitfalls of you are absolutely wrong or I am a complete failure. So there's basically the thought process that complex thinking comes with age, because when you're young, your brain is just like literally not developed enough to have complex thought. Don't quote me on that. It sounds right. If I'm speaking anecdotally about my own experiences, that's true for me. I look at my body now and can say, that's cool. That's different. Yeah, that's a body. And then I can have moments where I'm like, wow, fantastic work. You are a very good body. That is a powerful body. That's a really good body just because you're making me breathe. I live because of you. You're fantastic. And then also at the exact same time, yuck, ugly, weird shaped. Why is it like that? Why is it shaped like this instead of being shaped like that? It's unfair that I know I'm more fit than that person. I spend more time at the gym than that person, and yet I'm bigger than her. That sucks. I hate that. Saying that I'm shaped like a potato, okay, that feels derogatory, absolutely. That's not really a compliment to myself. Or maybe being potato shaped it's just truly, purely neutral. But also, potatoes encompass all of my favorite foods, so that's a huge perk. I love potatoes. I love being a potato. I love the nod it makes to my ancestral genetic predisposition. I love a strong Irish peasant woman carrying potatoes. I love her so much. I want to be her. I am her. So it's like I hate it, I love it, and I'm neutral about it, all at the same time. Those feelings all exist always. So that's nuanced thinking, and I think that's a big part of all of this. Now, there is one part of my potato body that is particularly difficult for me to love or at least feel neutral about, and that is my chest, okay? My boobs, I have a barrel-chested torso, which essentially then has two partially deflated water balloons strapped to the front of it. It's like the shoulders, they're broad, the torso, long and girthy, the belly is big, the thighs chafe, and I'm like, oh, can I just get a break on something? Can like something be the small thing? Thing about balance. Balance is all about even distribution, and the way the potato body does that is to just put all the mass at the core, and then there's just the wispy little extremities, our delicate small hands and tiny ankles. And I just wish the chest could be smaller, because here's the thing. Think about shoulders. Big shoulders, can't change that. There is absolutely nothing to be done about shoulder width or torso length. So I'm going to move on. Like, literally, what's the point? There's nothing I could do. I'm not going to try to Google South Korean shoulder slimming plastic surgery, because I'm afraid it does exist, and I would rather live in a world where it doesn't. Now, belly, it has the potential to change with lifestyle, maybe to a degree. I think the belly is an example of one of my philosophies I try really hard to remember is you can't control how skinny you are, but you can always control how strong you are. Your midsection has a lot of important muscles that are like really good to keep strong, front and back. Lower back is super important. So I feel like there's some control with what I can do there. Same with shoulders, actually. It feels really good to have strong shoulders and a strong upper back. I can do that. I can work on those things and feel good about what I've been able to put into it. Boobs. Boobs can only change as an uncontrollable variable from weight loss sometimes. You don't get to decide. You can't exercise a boob. They are a genetic predisposition. And going back, look here at our potato, girthy, Gerda visual here. I mean, look at them. They're big and saggy. If I were to make another visual comparison, I would like to do this. Yes, okay, picture coming. Snoopy. Snoopy the dog, here he is. You may look at this and assume, okay, so you're comparing to his nose, like his snout. No, that'd be very cool. That chest would be big and perky AF. That shape is like fake boob, big boob. Okay, no, my comparison is this. It's to his ear. You see Snoopy's ear there? Yeah, it's wide, it's long, it's oval shaped, yet essentially flat. It's not spherical. That's what I'm working with here. That's what I've got affront my body. And it impacts my daily life in ways that are so frustrating and disheartening. Even though my boobs in images appear smaller than my belly, the boobs are so much more of a problem because their Snoopy ear shape means they jiggle way more than a big belly ever could. I'm about a size 36G, though when I go running, which I love to do, I love running all summer long, I size down to 34F. It's one of those high impact, industrial strength, underwire sports bras. And I have to size down because that's how I get them to actually, hold them down. And then I layer it on top with a compression tank top. So you've got multiple layers going in to hold down the fort. And when I'm wearing that setup every morning in the summer, I feel like I'm in full medieval armor. It's very Joan of Arc. I have an insatiable desire to chest bump someone as soon as I'm strapped in, clasped in all the different ways. The sports bra setup is so intense. The whole getup probably costs like $100 when you add it all up. And I have to rebuy them like every season. And it still doesn't actually solve any of the problems. There is still always jiggle. I'm working with the highest impact sports bra setup imaginable. And yes, there is still bounce. That's part of life. But then the real noteworthy element could be fungus or blisters. Yeah, so I get chafed skin and blisters on my rib cage and on my back, like where the clasp is. I get those through the end of the summer when I'm running like 5 miles or more in one day, in one go. And if you want to say, oh, if that's happening, that means you're the wrong size. I'm telling you, I've tried every size imaginable, and I do the thing that is going to minimize the bounce up and down as much as possible because that's painful too. I'm really just trading pain for pain, but at least the chafing and blisters is pain that only I can experience, whereas the bouncing up and down is so humiliating to be out, because you're supposed to run against traffic if there's no sidewalk. It is humiliating. Even with this setup in the most minimized bounce I can make happen, I still get embarrassed that people might be looking at my boobs bouncing up and down. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the secret chafing underneath as opposed to a looser bra that wouldn't cause those problems. Does that make sense? Oh, but then the fungus. So every summer for the past decade, even when I wasn't running, this is just part of daily life. In the summer when it's hot and you're sweaty, is I get to go buy some jock itch cream or athlete's foot cream because you get a nice fungal rash between your cleavage and under each boob, under Snoopy's ear there. It's very sexy. It's very cool. We love a fungus. Oh my goodness. These overalls have mushrooms on them. This is very fitting for the topics covered, I'm realizing. Very, very peasant woman plus fungus. Excellent. For me, bras have really become an all or nothing situation. I don't know if you guys have experienced this too. Like before I had kids and before COVID happened, I wore an underwire bra every single day. That's like a normal bra. That's what you're supposed to wear. What I do now is I will put on that full body chest armor situation for running. But other than that, no, No. I'm in a bralette. It's completely unsupportive, but it's so freaking comfortable. Instead of trying to push the chesticles up, it's letting them hang down, which honestly, you guys, from the side view, it makes me feel skinnier. I'm going to be completely honest with you there, because I wear a lot of flowy shirts and, chesticles out with a flowy shirt, you just look like a tent. So here's the thing. I just don't have the willpower to give a crap anymore about the type of bra I should wear for the best shape and the best support. And does the center gore lay flush against your sternum? Is it 2-finger tightness around the straps and the band? Does it have 3 rows of hooks? I have learned so much about boobs and bras in my pursuit of having a better life. But now I'm just like, no. I just want to be comfortable. When I'm wearing a properly fitting bra that lifts and plunges with all the right seams and it's $100 and the boobs are way up high and, ergonomic, I don't know. I don't like it because when they're pushed up high, I can't see my feet and that makes me uneasy. With a properly fitting bra, all my shirts fit improperly. Like once I embraced the life of the supportless bralette, I discovered that I really like how I look in a white button-up shirt. I had never been able to do one before, like doing like a rolled up sleeve, kind of open chest. I feel like I could go on an artist retreat in Nantucket right now. I love how this, and I would never do this with a conventional bra. I am happy when I am comfortable. Duh, of course. I am happy when I am comfortable, and I am unhappy when I am uncomfortable. And the existence of boobs is more often than not causing discomfort. Bralettes are comfortable, yes, unless there's any movement required of me. Then it's uncomfortable because the boobs are like practically jumping up and down on their own, and like that skin like right here is like being tugged down. It's so painful. So I'm constantly in a state of choosing. Do I want to be comfortable, at ease, and sedentary, or have the sports bra be secured and locked in and ready to be active? My boobs mean I have to consciously decide this every single day for every single activity. Am I going to be very, very sedentary at this moment or very active? There's no in between. Like if I'm going to go running at a regional park that is 30 minutes away, I don't even put on my sports bra until I get there, because the thought of making a 30-minute drive in that sports bra, it makes me feel like one of those videos where people wrap rubber bands around a watermelon until it bursts. That's how I feel. And like if I'm wearing a bralette to a very chill gathering at the park, I absolutely cannot join in if there's an impromptu game involving any ball, except maybe bocce ball. I do really like bocce ball. Other than that, no, I can't. I physically cannot. It's too uncomfortable. I remember this one time in college, I was invited to a Thanksgiving dinner where afterwards everyone played a game of kickball. And now I hate kickball. I would have not wanted to join in under any circumstance. But what agonizes me is that even if I wanted to, I could not. Because I did not happen to have my $70 high-impact underwire sports bra in a specialty size on hand with me. Oh no. I don't like that was what was... I want it to be my decision to not play kickball because I hate kickball. I don't want it to be my boob's decision. That's what really grinds me gears. This summer, my son got his first real bike, like the real deal, no training wheels or anything. And we had that like very quintessential moment, core parenting memory of teaching him how to ride his bike. And also, unfortunately, one of my core memories from that day was begging him and my husband. You know, he's a little 5-year-old with his bike and he's so excited. And I said, wait, please, I'll be down in a second. Don't start yet. Because I had to go put on my $70 high-impact underwear sports bra in a specialty size. So we're out there on the driveway. My husband was actually doing the bulk of the lesson, but I wanted to be able to trot alongside him as he was starting to ride his bike for the first time. And so I have the sports bra set up completely on, and I was just so uncomfortable. I was moving around enough that I needed that support, but I wasn't full out running 6 miles at a regional park or anything. So I was more aware and distracted by the physical discomfort of the bra holding me in so tightly. I hated it. I needed it and I hated it. That's nuance for you. Wanting to get rid of my boobs is my Roman Empire. I have thought about it every day for at least more than 10 years. As my feelings about my body have gone up, down, been good, bad, positive, negative, neutral, I can't say the same about my chest. And I think part of the frustration is knowing that there is a way to change things at a price. There is breast reduction surgery. And even though my belly is bigger than my chest, it's the chest that I want chopped. Get rid of that. They're just hanging there, getting in my way. And okay, sorry, so many thoughts. Really, all I want to do is run through a meadow of wildflowers. I've said this before in another video on here. For me, when I envision what's the epitome of happiness, what's the happiest thing I can imagine myself doing or being, it's frolicking through a mountain meadow of wildflowers. It's very Sound of Music. Anytime I'm trying to find happiness in my day, I think, what can I do that will give me a little nudge towards that vision? And when I daydream about that very idyllic, beautiful scene, I can't help but also be mad and sad when I think, there's going to have to be this $70 high-impact underwire sports bra that I hate wearing. This frolicking through the mountain meadow is going to have that thing that I really hate wearing, the thing that makes me so uncomfortable and makes me chafed and bleed and get fungus on my freaking chest. In the same way it took away from the experience of seeing my son learn how to ride his bike, I think about these freaking boobs and how they are, not to be dramatic, they're taking away from my vision of the epitome of happiness. My goodness. Make that a college essay. I hate it. I hate that. I hate that so very much. Back to the surgery though. Sorry, jumping around. Surgery. I think maybe the reason I fixate so much on the chest problem of mine is because it feels like the solution is a piece of bait dangling just too far out of reach. The average cost for breast reduction surgery is around $13,000. That's 3 zeros, 13000. And we just bought our first house 6 months ago. We have 2 kids. We are a 1-car family, you guys. There are always going to be so many other things that deserve and need $13,000. Our house needs new windows. We need a second car so badly. We are increasing childcare hours this summer. There are 3 really tall dead trees in our front yard that, if they get blown over in a blizzard this winter, they could go through our roof, So instead, what do? I Google it. I Google it all the time. I look at the local plastic surgeons. I look at the doctors. I look at the before and after images. I look at the reviews. I look at breast reduction TikTok. I look at the girls on YouTube who have chronicled their whole surgery journeys and how happy they are with their results. And they do Q&As. And I read so much. I try really hard to figure out if my insurance would cover it. Seems unlikely, but I'm also petrified of actually calling my health insurance company. That's like a whole other issue. Honestly, I feel like I should have ended this on the topic of nuance, where I was like, yeah, you can love your body and hate your body and feel neutral about your body. I should have ended that, because now this is just like a huge downer. I'm sorry about that. I really do appreciate almost every single part of my potato body. Potatoes are absolutely amazing, and I love them. I really do admire my ancestors before me, especially the Irish peasant ones, so much. I love them. I love this. I love so much about all of these thoughts and how it exists in my head, and wow. There's just so much. Okay, redirect now. Oh, we always end doodle prompt. We always end with a doodle prompt because it's fun to have some specific reason to put pen to paper and get off of our devices. So your doodle prompt for today has to be inspired by this whole conversation. So let's say I think you should draw a self-portrait in ancestral garb. Yeah, like choose some part of your heritage. Learn about the traditional folkwear from some time frame of that place and imagine yourself in it. That's really fun. Yeah, draw your self-portrait in ancestral garb. I love that. Okay, thanks for listening, you guys. Bye.